The first question I want to ask you about your work is because you talk a lot about shifting from this unhappy mindset to a joyful one. Is this a decision we make or a practice for life?
Yeah, I'm going to say both. It's definitely a decision, but few people can just, snap their fingers and be like, now I'm happy.
Right.
Now I feel joy.
True.
Now, the better you get at it, yes. And that's where the practice part of that comes in. But I do think that the whole thing begins with a decision on your part that you are willing to change, that you want something different, that you want something better. And if you don't make that first decision to really decide that, hey, I'm going to do something different, I'm willing to change, I'm willing to get out of my comfort zone. Like if you don't make that first decision, the rest of it is kind of moot. It doesn't really matter. So the decision is probably the most important, crucial part is making that decision. Now, that doesn't mean that you have all the answers, you know exactly how to do it. It doesn't mean any of that, but it does mean that you have at least committed, set that intention that I'm going to do something different here. Once you've set that intention and made that decision, from there, it's absolutely a practice. It's absolutely a practice.
Yes.
And it's not like
Right.
I practiced for 5 minutes today. No, it's more of a 24/7, 365 kind of
True.
practice. Yes, that you're putting into place, right, in your life, because every moment is an opportunity, and even a quote negative or bad moment is still an opportunity for your growth, for your joy, for all of these things. And so that's definitely where the practice comes in.
In your book, you talk about stress. So, how do we learn to manage stress, Jennifer?
Going back to kind of what we've already discussed a little bit is making the decision that you're going to manage it. Otherwise, it can just really carry us away. But if you haven't really made that decision that you want to lower your stress level or live in a way with less stress, it is going to continue to kind of keep you on that roller coaster. But yeah, I would say that making that decision first, that I really I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna lower my stress level, and then from there, looking at different ways of doing that. And there's so many ways to lower your stress, but it all starts with taking back your power on it. I mean, as soon as you start making excuses of why, all the 25 reasons why you just have to be so stressed out, you've basically given all your power away to all of those excuses. And so if you really want to do something about it, you got to take your power back on it, and you got to be willing again to own it and to do something about it. And luckily, stress is one of those things that's totally fixable. Totally fixable. Yeah.
I love this idea of taking responsibility and just doing what we can do rather than complaining about and finding excuses, like you said. So, talk to me about the well-being assessment.
Yes. So this is a tool that I included in my book. As I mentioned, I really wanted this to be more of a how-to guide, tangible steps that I could take. And so with the well-being assessment, it's just an assessment that I created where you are bringing awareness into all areas of your life. And so it just walks you through different areas of your life, and it asks you to get really clear on a score for your life. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being it's awful and 10 being it couldn't be any better, to just go through and really rate each area of your life. And then for areas that score less than a 10, giving some thought to what would need to change in order to bring that area of your life, that score, up to a 10. And so again, we're bringing awareness into all areas of our lives because we get really busy, and sometimes we just don't take the time to look at these things or study them or think about them. And so this is really an awareness exercise, but also a thinking exercise. Instead of just, complaining about whatever area of our life, it requires us to put some thought into, well, what would need to change for me to really feel happy, satisfied, fulfilled, content in all areas of my life.
That sounds wonderful and sounds like having balance. I guess that's the word that comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's another practice or it's an understanding?
Yeah, balance, work-life balance.
Right.
I love it. I really do. But I think that the balance comes from inside. It doesn't come from outside. It doesn't come from, how you're scheduling. It doesn't come from, oh, well, look, I'm spending 5 hours of my personal life and 5 hours of my professional life, so I have work-life balance. It's not that. It's about having the balance on the inside, and that's really where it comes from. It's not an external, scheduling, planning kind of thing.
That connects to the title of your book, Joy. So that's an inside job.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
I love that, Jennifer. The power of quiet. Talk to me for a moment about that.
Oh, goodness. It's funny. I didn't grow up a meditator. I grew up in a very religious household where it was, toe the line or else. And there was no spirituality in it, I guess is the best way to describe it. You have a lot of religion, but no real spirituality. And so I never learned about meditation. I never learned about taking quiet time for yourself. And it really wasn't until my later years that I started to discover the power of that and started to really just be, just really attracted to it.
Right.
Like it feels so good once you learn how to quiet the mind and quiet those thoughts and just sit with yourself and be there with yourself. And there's all different kinds of way that you can experience the quiet time, from CEOs who set aside, just their CEO thinking time to, meditation techniques to, taking time to just plan your day. There's lots of different ways to express this. I don't feel like it has to be just, one or the other, but just taking that quiet time to really connect with yourself, to breathe, to let some stuff go, to get yourself, in the right mindset. I just think it's just so vitally important. I really wish it was something that they would teach us in schools. They need to teach us how to manage our money, and they need to teach us about spirituality. They don't.
Yeah, essential tools for life.